We finna go to jail. We're finna go to jail.
Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in. This channel isn't for everyone. I'm Christian, I'm black, I have vitiligo, I'm a business owner, I'm a content creator, I'm in my 20s, I'm a normal person. I have a bunch of different hats. I cannot conform to just one type of content. But if any of this is relatable, feel free to stick around. Welcome to the Evelyn Chanel's world. There's room for you.
Hold on, y'all see the feet? You get it to the feet. Giving bad beat. Cause this store right here, they tried to play your girl. But I'm still cute or whatever. I'm still cute. Ooh, I done dropped my blanket on the floor. But I ain't trying to be a little chilly though. It's a little chill outside. It's a little chill outside. Cause who? Who? Anyway, but yeah, I got a problem with keeping my legs closed sometimes. And this skirt a little short, as y'all can see, look, that meat. So we're just gonna drink that on my lap. I got me a little notes and stuff because y'all, I ain't the best person when it comes to I'm not the best person when it comes to telling story times. And for this story here, I had to make sure I got all of my little receipts, not even my receipts, but my little notes and stuff together, because this story is dense. So we're gonna get straight into it. Okay, so let's start out by saying happy anniversary to Evelyn Chanel, the YouTube channel. Cause period. Cause it's what, 2 years now? Yes, ma'am. 2 years in the game. 2 years in the game. And listen. I'm gonna tell y'all now. The goal by the end of this year is to at least get 1,000 subscribers. I want to go above and beyond that, of course, but at least 1,000 subscribers. So you know what that means? That means I need y'all to stop right now. Stop, pause the video, like it, comment, and share it. Share it. Pause it right now and share it and be like, girl, I need you to watch this with me right now. Right now. Who? Because this one right here is interesting. Disclaimer. Anybody that's a part of this video, it was what, 3 years ago, depending on which event we're talking about. So, I mean, it's a little kiki now. It wasn't funny when it was going on, but it's funny now. I can laugh about it, kiki, and keep on going, keep on pressing, because ain't nobody in this video moving me like that no more. Now, I don't condone violence, but by the end of this video, I'm gonna leave it up to the viewer. Do y'all feel like I should have put my hands on somebody in this video? We don't condone violence, but I'm just saying, like, what are y'all thinking? After you watch this video, let me know what you're thinking. Because I feel like I woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I didn't. So I'm gonna let it be. But now, if you see this video and you have a problem, first of all, babe, that sounds like a you thing. And second, if you're feeling froggy, so as you can tell by that title, this is gonna be a story time about when the girls was trying to take my man. Now, this is actually a update from my healing process. The very last, well, not the very last one, because I've since added on to it, but this is a update from it's kind of an update slash back little story to what was it? My safe haven. That part of my the healing process. So if you have not watched the healing process, you should stop what you're doing right now and you should go watch that. And then you can come back and watch something good. But first you got to listen to my story. And then you can come back and get a lucky key. So most of these people in this story time, I have already mentioned. I kind of briefly mentioned this, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of briefly mentioned this situation or parts of this situation, but y'all gonna see where we're going. But for specific purposes, I gave code name updates. 3 people I know in particular that will be a part of this story time. I gave them another name in my series. Okay. So first of all, the friend, I think I named her PK in my series, my healing process series. I think I named her PK. But for the sake of this story, and if I tell another story time about her, her name will be Little Caesar. Little C for short. My ex, for this, from now on, we're gonna call him MG, right? MG is gonna be his code name, right? Then my ex's ex, we're gonna call her Humpty. Humpty, that's her code name. So yeah, follow me, camera. If it gets a little confusing, I'll try to, leave little notes, so pay attention to the screen, just in case. So, if you do recall, me and MG, we ended up breaking up around September, the early part of September, I believe, the end of July, something like that. So we had broken up, but of course, when you break up, y'all don't always just stop completely communicating. And of course, we didn't stop completely communicating. Now, we did, we might have stopped talking for like 3 weeks, a month, or something like that completely, but we worked together as well. So it's just like we were always interacting with each other. And if you do recall, this particular friend, Little Caesar, she worked with me and MG as well. So yeah, she worked with us, but she was supposed to be a good friend or whatever like that. And so we had developed a relationship and we had started hanging out, whatever like that. Of course, by this time we had been hanging out, like we were locked in. We were locked. We were sister girls. We were supposed to be here with it, Libra gang, all this cute stuff. Actually, during this time, I think we were talking about taking a trip together for our birthdays because our birthdays were so close together. But you will see why that didn't happen. Okay, so anyway, if you do not know, I live in Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi. It is an SEC team, and during this time of this first little half of the story time, it was football season, right? Football season comes around, but this particular day, what I call it? Little Caesars, this particular day, Little Caesars, or a week or whatever like that, she was like, we need to hang out, we need to do something, we need to turn up, all this other stuff, and it was the week that we were supposed to be playing LSU, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was LSU. It was either LSU or Texas A&M. It was one of the bigger games, but it wasn't Alabama. I know that for a fact, and it was Mississippi State because we played Mississippi State in November around Thanksgiving. She was like, we need to do something, and we are going to insert another character by the name of, we're going to call him Bestie for the sake of this story. So Bestie is one of MG's good friends as well as one of Little Caesar's good friends, and they worked together before I got there as well. Like Bestie used to work at the spot that we worked at as well, but he worked there before I got there, so he was gone by the time I got there. But long time ago, Little Caesars and Bestie dated, but for the sake of the time period being, they were just friends during that time. They just kept the relationship going. You know how that goes. That's my ex. We were still really good friends. That was the story that they were going with. So he was planning to come down. She was like, and Little Caesars was like, y'all, you should come over. And y'all, for the sake of this story, myself, of course, my cousin, who's gonna go by cousins, always gonna be cousin, and her best friend at the time, Horton. myself, Little Caesar's cousin, and Horton, we all had to work Saturday morning. So we worked Saturday morning. After we got off, when we got something to eat, we would talk about the plans or whatever like that. And during this time, we would talk about what's going to go on or whatever like that. Not oblivious. Well, yes, I was very oblivious. But the plan was for us to, go grab some clothes or whatever like that, and then meet at the spot because Bessie had gotten the Airbnb. We're gonna meet at the spot. Little Caesars was gonna cook, and we were supposed to chill and drink and play games at the house. That's what the plan was supposed to be. So yes, we eat or whatever like that. We're talking about it. Unbeknownst to me, I actually found this out later that night, I believe, but I'm gonna go ahead and inform you about this now. Apparently during that time, Little Caesar was texting Bestie, and basically what they were trying to do was they were trying to set me up because they were trying to convince MG to come over. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't, but I want to say cousin knew about it because she saw messages or something like that in the phone. So it's supposed to be like a little setup or whatever like that. I don't know if they thought they was playing matchmaker or what it was, but child, that's what they was doing. They was doing what they thought they was doing. I had no idea. Didn't know anything about it. But cool. So we go gather ourselves and we meet back at the Airbnb. It's later in the day. So we get there, of course. And by this time, she was in the kitchen. So she was in the kitchen cooking it up, whatever like that. We're just sitting around. She made us some cute little drinks, and we're drinking and talking or whatever like that. Keep in mind, the headspace that I'm in at this time is, it's a little like, I was trying to get over a breakup, y'all. I was sad, whatever like that. But for the sake of hanging out with friends, I was trying to be of gentle spirits, of good spirits, and, just chilling out, just playing it cool. Whatever. So we're talking, and of course drinks are getting passed around. Spirits are starting to flow. Now, for the sake of this video, I won't go into too many details because we'll be here all night. But like I said, drinks were flowing. We were feeling really nice, or whatever. We was talking, and I said the state of mind that I was in for a reason, because there was a lot of stuff that was going, for me, it was going in one ear and out of the other. Keep in mind, like I said, Little Caesars and Bestie, they had known MG long before I knew him. They all had worked together, even including Humpty Dumpty. They all had worked together. They were all a part of a friend group previously. So they were all cool. They used to hang out. They used to go out of town together and all this other stuff. So, of course, they had stories. Now, I ended up having to tell MG, Bessie is not your real friend for real. Because, they wanted to crack jokes and they were trying to be funny. Whatever. So, like I said, we're playing music. We're joking, where they're joking. I'm just here, going in one ear out the other, joking, drinking. At one point in time, Little Caesar and Bestie sneak off in the room. And I think by this time, if I'm not mistaken, either Horton was on her way or she was there. So, they had snuck off in the room or whatever like that, a little giggling and a little kiki or whatever. Now, cousin is, I'm nosy, but cousin is nosy, baby, and she don't know how to mind her business. She don't know how to mind her business, which, I mean, if you're doing it in front of us, then we can only have so many options but to see it. Like, we gonna know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You can't, there's only so much you can hide. So, like I said, Little Caesar and Bestie, they snuck off and they were in the room, kikiing, and I don't know what else they was doing in that room, but they were in that room. And at one point in time, they were very much on the balcony. And I know for a fact, cousin, if I'm not mistaken, cousin walked over to the balcony, which is how she knew what was going on. But to make this very much YouTube friendly, Little Caesar and Bestie was giving the world a show, if you get what I'm saying, on the balcony. Like, if you catch my drift, They were on the balcony, you know, we gon' show the world. They were showing the world. If you get what I'm saying. On the balcony. Outside. With guests in the house. So then after they did that, they ended up coming back. We actually were supposed to spend the night that night. Bessie's stuff was in, it was a 2-bedroom Airbnb. Bessie's stuff was in one room, and Little Caesar was going to be in that room with him. Supposedly me and cousin were supposed to have the other room. At one point in time, Little Caesar and Bestie ended up in the bathroom in the room that we were supposed to stay in. And it's just like, I mean, I understand it's your Airbnb and all, but like, we didn't invite ourselves over here. And if that's what y'all want to do, then why we here? Why we got to be here to witness that? Like, y'all could lift us up out of that. Like, we ain't had to be here. We ain't had to come. We could stay at home. We could have, trust me and cousin would have found something to do. So, all this happens before we even get dressed to go out on the town. So, we finally get ourselves together. Horton makes it over. And, you know, Little Caesar calls a, Uber. It wouldn't be significant normally that Little Caesar was the one who ordered the Uber. But, as I tell the next series of events that happen, you gonna be like, but girl, then why would you, like, so anyway, Little Caesar is the one who ordered the Uber for us. We get in the Uber and we, you know, are headed. Now, as we're headed to the Uber, Little Caesar is, and it's kind of like, what you call them? It's not an SUV. I'll insert a picture of the type of car that it was. So Little Caesar was in the front passenger side, and myself, cousin, and Horton were in the back seat. And then of course you have the Uber driver, and she was a woman or whatever like that. So the more we're getting ready to head towards the square, which is where we do a lot of our partying in Oxford, you know, whatever. As we're heading to the square, Little Caesar looks a little sickly. She looks a little down, a little out, a little. She's not up to par. You know what I'm saying? She was a little grunk, and it was like you could see it all over her. Like she couldn't keep her head up. Literally, by this time the game is over. It's still a little clustered, a little crowded. So it takes us a little bit longer to get to the square than normal. But she had been going back and forth with the Uber driver and something about where we needed to be dropped off. Like I said, cousin is also, cousin is nosy, baby. She knows she nosy. Ain't that right, cousin? Cousin knows that she's nosy. So cousin, like at the time, Little Caesar was telling her the directions, but she was texting someone else as well. Me, I'm in the back seat minding my business because at this point, it's like y'all done dragged me out the house. I would have been fine at the Airbnb. Like, I mean, cool, turn up, but at the same time, I'm very much heartbroken. So I'm just here. So keep in mind, cousin was pretty much in Little Caesar's phone the whole night, okay? The whole day. So cousin knew what was going on even when I didn't know what was going on. So we finally are able to get dropped off on the square. And y'all, we didn't really get to do anything. We didn't get to do anything, really. I think we may have ended up walking in the club and pretty much walking almost right back out. Now, keep in mind, Little Caesar, these events is why Little Caesar got her. Now, it's not just the fact that Little Caesars was giving the world a show while we all were in the Airbnb, but this is also going to include, and you will continue to see in the story time, why Little Caesar has the name Little Caesar. So, Little Caesar has a club connection to get us into the club that we were only in for about 5 minutes, but we were in there. We got into the club because Little Caesar had a club connection. Connection. It was a close connection. Just wanted to throw in the fact that this connection was someone that one of her friends was trying to pursue. Like they always be, I think it was a big game, so their war very much at the time, but it was LSU, so it was kind of high. We didn't pay nothing to get up in there tonight. She had a connection. So we get in there just for us to come, and I'm glad that we didn't pay to get up in there because we was on in there like 5 minutes because Little Caesar was like sloppy drunk out the content of her stomach. So by the time we had even, that's what I'm saying, we weren't even in there 5 minutes. Like we literally got out of the Uber, walked up to the door because she had already texted her connection telling that we were coming, and we weren't even, she walked in and pretty much walked right back out. They have police officers already out there. They usually stand in the alleyway, and if you've ever been to Oxford, if you ever been to the square in Oxford, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The police officers are already right there. The police officers usually stand in the alleyway, and if you've ever been to Oxford, if you ever been to the square in Oxford, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's a alley, right, and then there's a main road that runs through the square, the alley. Then you have the main road. Cousin and I were on this side of the road, and this side of the road is also where the club is that we were supposed to be going in, and the police officers usually stand in the alley. Maybe 5, and she was sitting in a bench, and the bench is like maybe 5-6 feet away from the officers that were standing on the other side. Horton and Cousin at the time were underage. We were all together. Well, I mean, at this point, me and Cousin stand on one side of the road, so they really could have went to jail by themselves. But I'm sorry. I mean, no, you don't let your friends go to jail by themselves. But they were over there by themselves at first. So technically, me and Cousin would have been all right. Trying to make sure Little Caesar is okay. Me, at this point, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so Horton is trying to make sure Little Caesar is okay. Me, at this point, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm not going to lie, I was embarrassed, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, about to get ready to turn 22. This is happening in October. She's 26, turning literally 27 in a couple of days. I was 21, about to get ready to turn 22. Cousin is belligerent. She is literally drunk. Like, that's not okay. I'm embarrassed. Cousin is cross-faded, if you know what that means. And she kind of panicking, trying to hold up Little Caesar. Little Caesar is the oldest out of all of us, and you are sloppy. So they're on one side of the sidewalk. We could have been at home, and now you're trying to leave us out here, and you're sloppily drunk. I'm on the other side of the sidewalk with Cousin because Cousin is yelling, and Cousin is pissed. Cousin has gotten a little tipsy, and when Cousin gets a little tipsy, she gets a little rowdy sometimes. It could either go one or two ways. So this time, Cousin is pissed because, like I said, Cousin had been in Little Caesar's phone the whole night, baby. The whole night. So she had saw what been going on. This is when she tells me that Little Caesar and Bestie were planning to get NG over there to try to set us up, I guess, together, whatever like that. At this time, Cousin also proceeded to tell me that Little Caesar is planning to leave us out here because Little Caesar was texting another one of her connections telling her to come pick emphasis on her up. So now I'm irritated because it's just like, sis, you the one who brought us out here because we very well could have stayed. We could have been at home. Not even we could have stayed at there. We could have been at home, and now you're trying to leave us out here, and you're sloppily drunk. You're sloppily, like, you're falling all over the place. And so now I am irritated. I'm irritated. Cousin is yelling about that and about the fact that Little Caesar is sloppy. Like, girl, get yourself together. Keep it cute, sis. Cousin is pissed. So now Cousin is yelling. Cousin is bringing attention to us. And Little Caesar is bringing attention to Horton And her, because Little Caesar can't even stand up straight, like falling all over the place, like falling all over the bench. The act of emptying out the content of her stomach. And I don't street where Horton and Little Caesar's is. By this time, Little Caesar has actually started the act of emptying out the content of her stomach. I had to walk off a little bit because there is no way. And like literally right before she says, like she starts emptying out the content of her stomach, she's talking about how we should have drove. Had I drove, I would have been fine. I wouldn't have gotten this sick because when I drive and I'm intoxicated, I'm okay. And this doesn't happen. And she was driving too rough and she was hitting the corners too rough. And it's just like, well, sis, if you knew that it's a little rougher when you're intoxicated, why would you ordered the Uber? But if you knew that you had motion sickness like that, and your motion sickness gets a little rougher when you're intoxicated, why would you ordered the Uber? Why are we even here? She starts to empty out the content of her stomach. She already made that comment. She proceeds to empty out the content of her stomach. So she starts to empty out the content of her stomach. Cousin is yelling and screaming because this girl is drunk and we're underage. And at this point, I'm like, we finna go to jail. We're finna go to jail. Horton is cross-faded. She's in confusion, doesn't know what to do. Cousin is yelling, we are underaged. She is drunk. She is indecent. The police are right there. We finna go to jail. Well, yeah, we're going to jail. Yeah, because you're yelling. She's intoxicated. She's public indecency. And they're going to get you for public indecency too and underage drinking because you are hollering. Calm down.